неща.
Hello,
Life is so much.
this is Lada from astrolab.com here with the Sidereal Babylonian astrologer Krasi Atasio, and today we're going to talk about career, talents, vocation, mission in life, calling. These are topics a lot of people have been asking us. Even Krasi told me that every single reading she has had in the last few months, people have been asking about what is my purpose, what is my career, because this is the year exactly when we're trying to figure this out. So hi Krasi.
Hi, Wada. Hi, everyone. Yes, indeed, Wada. Because of these huge changes which are happening to each one of us on different level, people open their eyes to the truth. They see the reality in a different way. They are searching for another. What do you hear? Yeah, they are searching for another meaning. Some of them are losing their jobs for good to find other careers, other goals, other. So most like recently, like the last 3-4 months, almost everyone was asking me, what shall I do? I lost my job, or what shall I do? I have other interests, but I'm not sure how to find myself. So I thought this would be indeed a wonderful topic exactly now to discuss, to give answers to people, how to find their purpose, their talents, their goals, the professions, not one, more than one, which are encoded in the horoscope.
Yeah, makes sense with Saturn in Capricorn. That's exactly what we're reassessing this year. And in tropical zodiac also Jupiter was there, so these topics are so important for people. And Krasi is going to show us her unique way of looking at career, which uses a lot of ancient techniques, parts, different Arabic laws and parts, very different than what I've seen. Than what if you've seen how Western astrologers do it, Krasi will demonstrate you a different way. And she's actually doing a crash course on the same topic on the 21st of November. And it's only $69, 30% off from $99 if you join us. So we're hoping to meet you there if you find what Krasi is sharing now interesting as an example, because she will teach you exactly how to do this professionally as well, or as an astrology lover. There you go, Krasi.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Wada. I prepared 4 horoscopes, just examples. I will not go in depth, but just to show you, to illustrate how indeed the ancients would look at the horoscopes to find talents, career, and we'll be looking indeed at the celestial images which are typical for the ancient sidereal Babylonian astrology. It is the life astrology, astronomical astrology, because you look at the sky, whatever you see makes sense in your own horoscope. Like imagine you're ruled by Taurus, you have Taurus ascendant, and something is happening in the constellation of Taurus. Obviously, it will influence you immediately because you are represented, and in every single detail from the image of Taurus will impact you as a representative, or the animals which are represented by the same sign. So, I mean, the link looks very simple, and actually it is when we observe, through observation of the celestial images, this is the most important. So I prepared, there are many additional techniques which we add, like indeed the Arabic lots, but the Arabic lots are additional techniques. You cannot count only on Arabic lots, Wada, because in the beginning, when I discovered the Arabic lots, I was so excited. I would really rely mainly on them. It's not actually reliable enough. It works only as a helping tool. When you already have established your judgment, then indeed you can back it up with the Arabic lots. But to count only on Arabic lots, probably it's not the best thing to do.
So I
other things.
Babylonian astrology, because it's pictorial and you're using not just the 12 constellations, you're using all the constellations, and sometimes it can be so obvious. For example, the horoscope of one person, he had when he was born on the eastern horizon, whatever the normal sign was, but next to it was a constellation of the dolphin. And this person was working with dolphins. They were scientists of dolphins. So that it's as clear as that sometimes, just knowing the constellations and which ones are the ones on the ascendant for you, on the highest of the sky, not just the normal 12 constellations. We're talking there are other constellations. There are
Exactly.
constellations of chariots, there are constellations of uh, all types of animals and whatever. And if you know the mythology of them, actually you smack yourself on the forehead and you're like, this is my life, you know. So it's like,
Very true. Wada, when you say this, just very recently, like I think it was last week, I had amazing reading with one lady, and she told me that I'll go, for example, she had on the ascendant I'll go, excuse me, the Pleiades. And because the story of the Pleiades is that the seven sisters in the Babylonian mythology, the story is different. But in the Greek mythology, we have the seven sisters. And in the mythological story, you know that one of the sisters disappeared. She's just gone. And the story is such that if you have this on the ascendant, people risk, of course, in combination with other astrological factors, but along with this, people risk to lose sister, to disappear. And so happened with this lady. She lost her sister, and she was that's why she contacted me, because I was saying this story in one reading or video or something. So indeed, see, the things work in a crazy way. You can't even believe how it works. So she told me, you know, I had to play this, and indeed what happened is that my sister was disappeared. It is because one of the sisters of the Pleiades disappeared.
wow.
Meropa, I think. Yeah, she disappeared. So many things make sense, but we need really to research the Greek mythology. It's encoded, not only the Greek, any mythology. If you're interested in the ancient mythology, if you're interested in the Vedic mythology, go for the Vedic. But the mythological stories are encoded truths, and they're amazing.
Yeah, when you work with constellations, you need to use mythology, because that's and when you work with constellations, there are how many, 88 constellations around actually.
So they say, but there are more. There are more, and if you add observations, like really observe, you this is it broadens your, you know, your the way you look at astrology a lot, and everyone can do this. It's not a big deal to observe and see what you see, and it will make sense. So talking about this, I prepared 4 horoscopes of people from different professions. I would just show you, when I share my screen with you, I will just show you how we just see immediately their talents, their professions, and we can immediately judge. Of course, what the modern astrology is doing by looking at the 10th house, at the 6th house, makes sense. This in addition we do as well. We have to look at the 10th house, and part of these Arabic lots are derived from the houses which make the certain meaning. Like you have the Arabic lots of rank, career, and one of them you derive from midheaven and the moon and the sun. So obviously we need to apply the house systems as we know them. But yes, the celestial images to me are priority, and after that Arabic lots, after that everything else. So I will share with you my screen. The 4 horoscopes are Sean Connery, because he left us just a couple of days ago. Then I found the horoscope of amazing medieval astrologer, which is William Lilly. Everyone probably knows William Lilly, to show you how the horoscope of a real astrologer looks like. And then I have the horoscope of Johnny Depp, as he is a very interesting case, Johnny Depp. And the 4th horoscope was, what was it? I'm going to share my screen and we see, because I forgot which was the 4th one. All right. Yes, William Lilly, Sean Connery, Johnny Depp, and the 4th one was Einstein. So let's start. I hope you see I shared my screen. Let's start with Sean Connery. We will be looking at, like, priority, of course, will be the celestial images. Then we'll look at many other factors, Rahu and Ketu, the lunar nodes, which show us, of course, the karmic talents which people carry, and knowledge and expertise. They're very, very important, of course. but also they need to be in specific celestial position. So this is the horoscope of Sean Connery, and only if you look only the position of his mid-heaven in the 11th house, if we don't look at any other factor, is in the constellation of the Northern Crown, just in the end of the constellation, in the vicinity of Zuban al-Shamali. These are all stars, and the constellation is a lot about talent and makes people visible in what they do. So this is one thing very, very important. And then you see, this is like first and very, very important. Immediately you see here the constellation of the Northern Crown. Many people which are presenting, which are famous, would have indeed this constellation on a key position.
Northern crown, like a crown, corona?
Crown, corona.
Like
Yes.
crowned people, okay, yeah.
Yes. Then look what is happening here again. The sun, which is ninth house. Ninth house is a very benevolent place, as it is trining the ascendant. Aspects we'll be looking at as well. He has sun trine Saturn, which is benevolent by all means. But you'll see that the sun and the syzygy point, we will be talking about the syzygy point, because the syzygy point is showing how the world and the social circle perceives you, how you perceive the society. And both are in the vicinity of the star Regulus, the royal star Regulus. Oh. He was not only famous actor, but he had a lion's heart. Yeah. I just read that, yeah, he was brave. He really had lion's heart. And you see it's just around Regulus. And this is how he was perceived.
Oh, yeah. The strongest man, James Bond.
Absolutely. But also people would perceive him this way. And when I think how I perceive him, exactly like somebody with very heavy presence, heavy in a good sense, like present. So yes, this was this lion. And then of course, very, very important is the lunar day, because almost everything depends, of course, on the position of the moon. And the moon indeed is invisible, but it's just a couple of hours before appearance. So we can even consider this moon as first lunar day. It was just a couple of hours before the first lunar day. Yeah, because you see, it's far enough from the sun, just like in 1 or 2 hours, the moon would appear. Yeah. This is here, he had this triple super strong conjunction, and you have Venus like 4 degrees away from Spica. Now this would be a huge distance if we're talking about other star, but Spica is so visible with such high magnitude that she is influencing 100% Venus. So Spica is what? A star which has the nature of Venus and Mercury as a conjunction. And therefore, this is a star of talent, communication skills, eloquence. So he was great in presenting. Along with that, and look, along with that, Mercury, Venus together, and the moon. And actually, you know, Mercury, Venus in, the moon in Virgo is very intellectual. And so his appearance was very, very intellectual. And together with Mercury, we're talking about imagination, talents. These 3 planets in the 10th house, it's something truly amazing.
I have here actors very often have Venus, Mercury in the same sign. And it is a combination for that as well, for artistic talents.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, the phase of Venus is very important. Venus is an evening star. And when Venus is an evening star, she's Aphrodite. She's Inanna from Uruk. She's very fine when it comes to art. Imagine you have the 2 Venuses. You have Venus as a morning star, you have Venus as an evening star. And Venus as a morning star is masculine. She's Athena. So she is not really known with this fine art, which would be compared like with the opera or the fine Renaissance art. But then this would be the evening Venus, what he has. Venus, evening star, powerfully placed in the 10th house. So this is a horoscope of an actor for sure. And he lived very long because he died, I think he was 90 because of this trine here.
And one thing that makes an impression to me is he has Saturn right on the ascendant, and he looked not a year beyond 60 or something, even when he died. He had this, Saturn on ascendant, they look, the older they get, they look better. It preserves them, almost like marinates them there.
Yeah, yes, most probably this is the reason, yes. And for sure, this is the reason for his longevity. That's for sure. He lived long because of this well-placed Saturn and because he's born in the day. Imagine with this Saturn born at night, I'm not sure if he would have made 90, if he would have reached age 19. So, but yes, so these are the just main things we'll be looking at: the phases of the moon, the phases of Venus. Venus is so important when you, for such profession in particular. Now let's look at the next one. William Lilly. William Lilly, astrologer. He's the father of the horary astrologer. He is, yeah, when you read his, big book, no doubt about his talents. So look what he has on the ascendant, what Aquarius, and not just Aquarius, he has the waters of the man, the Aquarius, who is pouring the waters. These are sacred degrees. This guy was an occultist priest in past life, and he carried this pattern, this knowledge. I'm not looking at the lunar notes. This is another story. We will do it during the class, during the webinar, but the lunar notes are also super important. But already when you look at this horoscope and you start with the ascendant and you look that there is a sacred degree, you understand that this guy is not just someone. He is someone very spiritual, very gifted when it comes to priesthood. He was not only astrologer, he was very occultistic, esoteric. He came with a mission, and it was the waters of the river.
Oh, there's also that is where Aquarius is pouring the water of knowledge. So he was pouring the most one of the most astrological knowledge comes to us from him.
Yeah, abundance of knowledge as water pours. Yes, and then look what is happening, something mind-blowing in the sign of Leo. Where is the moon? In the vicinity, with Mars in the vicinity of astrological star. What you want more? The moon is in the vicinity of Zosma. Mars and the moon are just grabbing Zosma.
Zosma
now, what you want more?
Astrology, occult knowledge and astrology. Wow.
Astrology. We can leave this horoscope as here. Finish. We see the guy's astrologer. Finish.
Best astrologer I know, astrologers nowadays living, I know they have Zosma, ascendant, or moon, or sun, or midheaven. That's
finish. Astrologer. You see Zosma, moon in Zosma. The sacred degree on the ascendant, boom, the guy's astrologer. We leave this horoscope, we go further.
Yeah.
Let me show you the crazy Johnny Depp.
Oh, tell me about him.
Look what's going on here. Okay, this time we have Venus as a morning. So we're on ascendant Cancer, Sidereal. We know he had some issue with this ascendant and the placement of the moon in the 6th house. He is strange. And I know he had issues with some drugs and stuff. But look, the moon is also in a very interesting position, but we leave this. Look at something amazing. Venus is in Algol. And I checked the phase of Algol. At the moment of his birth, Algol was visible. It was not dim. So he didn't make him crazy, gave him money.
Yeah.
Gave him, yeah.
Positive side Venus of Algol is wealth. But
wealth.
with Venus, the planet of relationships, Algo can indicate destructive women or relationships as well. Kind of craziness in his relationship, because Algo is about losing one's head. Algo is the head of the Medusa, which was chopped, which was cut off from her. And very often it can indicate someone that loses their head, kind of not literally, but they can burst out of.
No, true, and this is Venus. These are the women in his life. He couldn't hold his wife. He has 3 children with this French singer. What was her name?
Oh, Vanessa Paradis.
Vanessa Paradis. They didn't keep the marriage, right? And they have together 3 children. So he cannot hold marriage. He cannot stay in a marriage because of Venus in go. And Venus is with Mercury, exact conjunction. Venus,
Again,
Mercury
the
in
actors
go.
combination.
Like you said.
Yeah.
See? Yeah, talent combination. He's very talented. This we cannot deny. Very,
and also maybe that's why he represents such darker
and
roles.
also look,
Algol is quite maybe that's why he represents such darker roles, because Algol has this kind of a darker energy to it, it's not like happy-go-lucky characters. They're always deeper and intense, and they're dealing with something kind
very,
of
yes. Exactly. All roles which he chooses are kind of crazy, esoteric, symbolic. He even had one, like years ago, I remember a movie when he played a sleeping medium, and he was taking a kind of a drug, and then he would see the future, and he would see images and spirits. I don't know what was the name of this movie. He always chooses crazy roles or some which are very esoteric, and this is because of this placement and the Cancer ascendant and the 6th house Ketu moon, Ketu with the moon. He is very esoteric. He sees things. He sees dreams. This is why, well, and you see Jupiter in Pisces in the 9th house. Of course, this is blessing beyond any doubt. And again, we see here Saturn and the Sun in a trine, which will give him longevity for sure. And another thing we see is that the Sun is conjoined Rigel, star of money, money star. He will always be wealthy. Nothing can break him.
Wow. Awesome.
Awesome. Let's go further. There are many other things we can see here, but these were the most interesting. Einstein, Albert Einstein. And here we have something mind-blowing. Along with the ascendant Gemini and the degree, of course, which is knowledgeable degree with beyond any doubt. But look what is going on in the 10th house. We have Sun, a lot of fortune, Mercury in a fast with Saturn, with Venus exalted. Everything is happening. This is genius conjunction. Mercury visible, just disappeared 2 days before he was born, which makes Mercury, still very active, still very present and potent, and giving what he is given in terms of knowledge. Then you have him conjoined Saturn. Saturn is invisible. Maybe he didn't have a father. I never researched his biography, but with this Saturn, I doubt that he had a father. And exalted Venus with Mercury, with Saturn, with the Sun in the 1st degree of Pisces. And this is a potent point, because the 1st degrees of Pisces are where we're having the point of the spring equinox for the Northern Hemisphere. And so this is something very, very strong. And then what you have, that Scorpio is very much associated with knowledge. Scorpio resembles in a way typically the Mercurian knowledge of Hermes. And the 22nd degrees of Scorpio are super knowledgeable. Like people say, oh, but the moon is fallen in Scorpio. Wada, to tell you honestly, I doubt this more and more. The moon in Scorpio is so potent when it comes to knowledge that when we keep saying the moon is detriment there, I'm not sure anymore, to tell you.
That's profound. One thing I just noticed, his midheaven is on the waters of the Aquarian again. The Aquarius for the sacred degrees of knowledge. That's
exactly. Yes, and the moon is applying to Venus. So it's like blessing in what he's doing, in abundance of talents. The moon is the moon from Scorpio, from the most knowledgeable place, the depth of the knowledge. Like really, I think he would be able to read the Akashis or something. I don't know.
Gosh.
Maybe he did. Probably he did, yes. And then you see this moon is applying to trine with Venus. And then you see Mars exalted with Rahu in Capricorn, where again in Scorpionic place in the 8th house. So digging into researching secret knowledge, occultism. I think he was occultistic very much too. He was not only...
He was deeply occultic and spiritual. And...
Yeah, for sure. Yes, so these are just some points to illustrate how we can, based on the images, based on the places represented by stars, and we will look at the projections of the stars, how they project on the ecliptic so that they influence us. So this will be the interesting things that we'll be looking at. And of course, Rahu and Ketu there, when it comes to expertise, knowledge that we carry, models that we carry from past lives, they're super important. And yeah, look, Rahu, who is showing what he's aiming at with Mars in Capricorn, exalted Mars, this is very, very strong. Not that Rahu and Mars are well together, but still it shows he was driven, very much driven to dig into
the secrets of the universe. Yeah, the 8th house. Wow, and it's so easy and fast by looking at the images. Bam, bam, bam. This star, this constellation, this is what it is. Fascinating. And
and the more and more,
sorry.
Say it, Wada. No, I wanted to say that the more and more you look at this, and you also observe, more and more you see, every time more and more you see.
Yeah, it becomes easier to be an astrologer when you have all this, constellations and the symbology and the meaning, rather than trying to figure out just through combinations and aspects of planets. And
this is needed as well. You need to look at the aspects, of course. Mm-hmm. This is needed as well. But other helping tools, like I didn't mention the lots, but like I'm telling you, they're good helping tool as well. But the lot of fortune, very much it's so easily derived. You derive it from a day chart in one way, from a night chart in another way, and it also gives you supportive information on what people should do for work, where their occupation lies in the horoscope. There are different lots of rank, of profession, indeed, of talents. There are many lots that we can look at as a helping tool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so much, Krasi. If anyone would like to learn how to do that, to look their talents and career through the ancient art of constellational, sidereal astrology, Krasi is teaching a lesson. I actually use the knowledge that I received from Krasi with tropical zodiac, but I just impose it on top and I see the constellations behind and what they mean. And it just adds so much more depth as well. So thank you so much, Krasi. If anyone would like to join the course, it's on the 21st of November. If you can watch it live, you receive the recording and you own it forever. Krasi, it will be like 4 or 5 hours. Krasi will speak what each star means in regards to careers and the different constellations and so on. So that will be fascinating. I can't wait. And also, if you can't be bothered to learn that, you can just have a reading about vocation with Krasi through this astrology method that she showed you. I think you might feel fascinated to figure out what your vocation is. So thank you, Krasi. Have a great day.
Thank you, Wada. Thank you, everyone. Yes.
Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us.